that one was a smoother transition than we normally do. I figured out how to
Yeah.
do that fade just a little bit better. Hey, oh, you know what I'm gonna do right now, Jake?
What's up?
Hit the record button.
Whoa!
Yay! It's like a real show right now. Can you believe that shit? Welcome to the
I can't.
Mansplaining, the show for guys by dudes. I'm Dave.
I'm Jake.
Hey, welcome to the show, guys. This is a show where basically two old guys try to give advice to the 22-year-old versions of themselves. We call it mansplaining because that's exactly what we're doing. We're talking to other guys and trying to give them advice and tell them how to do shit, or as guys call it, just talking. So,
Yeah.
welcome to the show. I love the name. At first, I when we made the name of the show, I'm like, yeah, we'll try that. And then I realized that that's like the biggest fucking hack name for any podcast the guys are doing. Mansplaining. There's like a zillion of them out there. But then I loved it again is when you tell it to any ladies like, oh, you have a podcast. What's it called? Well, mansplaining. And then seeing the look on their face, the look of disgust, of anger, and I'm like, yep,
Yeah.
here it comes. You know, well, what's the show
I
about? I
mean,
want to be on it. I'm like, you don't even know what the show's about. I tell them what it's about, or
uh,
you've told other people what it's about, and they're like, oh, that
yeah.
sounds like a really good idea. I'm like, yeah, that's why we're fucking doing it, you know?
Well, one thing I also get annoyed with is when people were like, "I want to be on it." I'm like, "This is not that kind of show."
Yeah, exactly.
At the yeah, not at least not at the moment. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
It would be kind of weird. It would just be like a Zoom chat, like a really sad Zoom mic if we had another person on here. And by the way, anybody says this is a colossal waste of time, I challenge you to say, how is this any more of a waste of time than a fucking Zoom open mic?
yeah, oh, yeah. I never did any of them. I never did them.
I
I
did a few, and I was okay with them. I was doing all right with them. They're okay as long as the way it's set up. If the other comedians, if you could hear them laughing, it's like if you could tell if something's funny, because if you're just in your room and you're watching it, um, you're probably not going to laugh. But if you hear other people laugh, you're like, oh, okay, I guess they just told a joke there. You're like, yes, yes, we did. So
yeah.
those parts were good. But the ones when you were just talking and there's just into the void, and I'm like, I could be doing this just in my room right now with my computer off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I honestly don't fucking need any of this stuff. So, um, I am trying to get, let's see, I am sharing this little tweet and all the stuff that we're going live. And so, man, how things rocking out for you out there in Faux Town?
A lot of work. Doing a lot of work.
Yeah,
Uh, one thing I did. This is the fat kid in me saying this, but I think I found my favorite convenience store of all time.
oh, what's that?
Quick Trip.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I'm
Yeah,
telling you,
cute.
Quick
Yeah,
Trip is the shit, right?
yeah. Yeah, I didn't. I mean, I knew about it, but never really stopped in there.
Yeah.
And we were on. I was on a delivery somewhere like in like downtown Phoenix, and I mean, it was like some apartment building. Drop it off. I look across the street. I see the Quick Trip, and I'm like, I can get a drink or something. I
Yeah.
go in there and I get like some pizza. And it was like for a fucking convenience store. It actually had pretty decent shit,
Oh, yeah.
and it's huge. They got like literally everything, you
Yeah.
know. And they don't have as many crackheads in front of it as Circle K does.
No, they take they take care to make sure that there's not a bunch of like. It's really rare to see panhandlers and stuff out in front of out in front of a QT. Normally there
Yeah,
isn't. So, and on top of that, if you notice, because this was really important for cabbies, um, they're super well lit. They're super
yeah,
well lit, so that way you feel safer when you go there at night. The bathrooms don't look like somebody rooster tailed all over it. You get in and out of there really quick, and yeah, it's like, you thirsty? What do they have to drink? Fucking everything. They've got everything to drink there. Every one of those places is huge. So you got something to eat? Yeah, you want a taquito? You want a hot dog? You want a hamburger hot dog? I got that. Let's see. I've got crab cakes. What else do I got? Filet mignon. I'm like, really? Like, it's fucking there. You just got to look for it, you know. But
yeah.
yeah, QT was great. You just walk in there like, all right, what do you need? Anything else? You want smokes? You want smokes? You want smokes? I got smokes. You want smokes? No smoke? Smoke. Smoke, smoke, smoke. Who wants smoke? Okay, nope. All right, get out of here. You know, and you're just, you're on your way.
Oh, you're gone quick. It's
Yep.
just like the guy they just boom, boom, boom. Put your card in. They don't even ask you to put your pin in. You just put the card in and then you leave.
Yeah, do you see usually how many people are working there too?
Yeah, like
There's usually
three.
like, yeah, in the middle of the night there might be two, maybe three people, but in the daytime there's like a team of 5, 6 guys back there. And you're like, Jesus, man. It's
Yeah,
just really like, get in, get out, and it's fucking great. Yeah, QT's the shit. Circle K can go suck their, suck an ass. I don't know. They could suck the fart out of my ass, is what I was trying to say. It was weird. The thing that I always hated about like the Circle K, at least the one that was by my apartment in Tempe, is that occasionally you would get somebody that find like there's one person on the register there and they want to buy scratchers and they want to take their time figuring out which ones they want to get. Like
Yep.
as if nobody else fucking exists in the whole world and like, ooh, what about this one? Ooh, I got to figure out which one I want to get. And I'm like, ugh. I really hope you lose all your money. I really do. Like, I hope this day's
Oh,
not starting
girls.
out great. I hope it gets worse. Listen, my Red Bull is getting warmer as it's sitting in my hand. I've got 25 seconds to get it out of the fucking cooler to the counter in my car before it starts getting warm and icky. All right, so come on, hurry the fuck up. You're ruining everybody's day. So, yeah, yeah. I don't know, man. Like I said, there's some things I like about Arizona. The fact that there's a Jack in the Box every quarter mile. I don't know if that's a good thing.
Yeah, no.
Packing a lot of pounds that way. Jack in the
So,
Box, man. Yeah. Ugh.
so I've had In and Out enough now to I think say this.
Uh-huh.
I don't. I they have great burgers. Love
Yeah.
them. They're actually really good. Their fries are terrible.
Okay. Where are you driving away and then going home and eating the fries, or are you eating them within like a short time after they give them to you?
Like they'll give them to me. I'll go to my car because I never go through the drive-through. Is always too long. Their
Yeah.
drive-through just go in. I
Right.
just go in.
Mm-hmm.
But like I'll go to my car and then as I'm driving home, which is
Mm-hmm.
like a 5 minute drive, I'll eat them as I'm driving home.
Right. See, that's too long. You you
Oh,
have
oh
to
shit. Okay.
you have to eat them within like a couple of minutes of them giving them to you, and they're fucking great. Any more than say like 3 minutes, once they start to lose that initial hotness, that heat, then they start tasting like freaking wax potato, and it's just like, what the fuck is this, man? This is bullshit. Um,
Yeah.
if you do the animal style, which is basically with the melted cheese, the Thousand Island, and the grilled onions on top of it,
Yeah.
those will travel a little bit better because they're locked in by a mountain of cheese. So I don't know. They
Uh,
don't. That's the other thing about In and Out is that there's a lot of different things you can do with the menu, but you have to go online and figure it out and know what the code is because going to like, hey, can I get a 4x4? Which is four
yeah.
patties, four cheeses, and things animal style, or I want protein style, and all this other weird shit. They don't
Yeah.
put any of that on the menu because they're like, dude, you want a single or double? That's it. Single, double. All right, here, give me your money, get the fuck out. And that's
Yeah. That's
ruthless
true.
efficiency. That's really the way to go with all that shit. So, uh, let's I'm seeing if anybody who is in the room right now. Drew has not popped in and said hi. Oh wait, Drew's in here. He just hasn't said shit yet. So
Okay.
yeah, we've got that. So I was wondering what's happening. I'm like, that's weird. Drew would have popped in by now. Let's see. Other stuff happened. I finished the end of the run of the Seance show at the park that I was working at, which it was weird because we had some technical difficulties with one of the effects of the bleachers, which would drop down. At this point where
Yeah.
there's a scare happens and everybody drops down like 4 inches and everybody freaks out. It rarely ever failed to get a response out of people. But either way, it was like the fourth show. We were doing six. The fourth show, something breaks in the airbag that's underneath it, so that thing is done. It's not coming back. There's no way to repair it. So we're like, all right, well, we got two shows left. Let's just do no minimum. So there's only like instead of normally there was supposed to be a 29-person minimum, there's like 13 people there, including the
Yeah.
four people that are on stage, so maybe only nine. And the one of the other actors is like, man, it's not going to be a lot of people, and I'm like, I've performed for less.
That's a weird flex.
Yeah, right. It
Yeah.
is. I was like, nah, you know what? I've done way fucking longer shows with less people. Like some of my best shows or best sets that I ever had were basically like Into the Void with one person. Like I honestly think some of my best sets that I enjoyed doing the most was like at El Chorito at 1:45 in the morning, 15 minutes before they've already done last call, and there's only like one
Yeah.
person inside of that room, and I'm like, you know what? I've had fun doing that, so that's great. So people were still kind of freaked out. There was a little bit of talking in the audience on the fifth show, but they seemed to really, really like the show. We were surprised because of without the big effect, but they still liked it. The last show, and we'd always go, I'm like, last show, best show. We're like, yeah, we're fucking doing this, right? So there's this girl who she's a little bit chatty. She's one of the volunteers. She's sitting to my left, right? So I got two people on my left, two people on the right, and those chairs don't move, right? So the whole thing is like, hey, as long as your hands are on the table, you'll be protected, and as long as we don't break the circle. But I end up getting breaking the circle, and I get possessed, and then the whole freaking horror thing happens. So and I'll talk about this now. I didn't want to talk about what the effects were because just in case anybody watches this and they went to go see the show, they're like, I already know everything that's going to happen. Well, you're going to forget in a year's time. So I get possessed, right? I'm in the back of like in this closet, and there's like this weird hologram vision thing where it sees the girl possessing me, and then my vision fades away, and then it's just her there, and then I disappear. So there's a blackout, and during the blackout, the ghost comes out from about the closet and basically sits on the where I was sitting in the table, but she kind of hides underneath the table, right? And she's got a big, huge
Right.
demonic goat head with her. So that's under the table as well. So then there's a strobe light, and for a moment with all these sound effects and freaking sound and wind and everything, and then there's a subtle blackout for just a moment where she pops up out of the table, and then it's another strobe effect. So there was nobody there. Suddenly now there's this ghost that's sitting there at the table looking at you, right? So the girl that was sitting to my left freaks the fuck out because they tell him before, I'm like, don't get out of your chair. Don't try to run away because you're going to run into a wall. So please don't be that guy, right? Like, yeah, we're not going to do that. This girl almost did. She jumped out of the chair and into her boyfriend's chair, right?
Now,
So now
yeah.
there's nobody sitting to my to the where I would normally where the ghost sitting to the left because that girl's moved to the other chair. So the strobe goes out again. So normally what happens is she puts on the goat head and then she stands up and she'll get right in front of somebody's face, right? And that'll freak him out because it's more strobe light and with the louder effects and stuff. And now there's this fucking goat demon that's in your face. So Janae, that was the other actor's name. Janae, instead of staying in the center chair, she moves over to the chair where the girl just left. And she had never done this before. So when the strobe light comes up, both her and her boyfriend are looking, and there's this fucking demonic goat right in front of her. And it kind of went into the whole "don't break the circle" thing because when the girl jumped out of her chair, she broke the circle, and now there's a freaking demon there. So both of them jump out of that chair, and they're trying to run away, but without running away at the same time. So they're hiding on the other side of the desk or of the table, but they still have their hands on the table because they don't want to break the circle because they're still invested into the story. And I'm looking at this, and they are screaming super fucking loud, and they're super freaked out. And I look at the tech, I'm like, last show, best show. Like, you caused some fucking psychological harm to this person because these folks were like, I am not okay. That was not fun. We're like, yes. Uh,
Yeah.
you got your money's worth when you come and see the show, the Seance show. So it was. I was
Like
so freaking psyched about it, man.
it's like Grand Theft Auto where it says mission pass respect plus plus plus.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it felt like. I'm like, yeah. So that was the second most interesting story that happened that evening. The first one, like there was a couple of the clowns that perform on the Midway and also performed in the haunted houses, right? I didn't get a chance to get
Yeah.
to know most of the clowns, but I knew there was one or two of them that kept getting punched in the face like every weekend and on the Midway. And I'm like, Jesus, what's going on? And so most folks, when they're dressed up like a demonic clown, they just kind of do this creepy thing where they move closer and closer to people, and that usually freaks people out. And that's kind of how they scare people, where they might go boo,
Yeah.
something like that. These two clowns, and I mean that in both sense of the word, were like getting in people's faces, like, "You want to start something, boy?" like, like they're these like
Whoa.
redneck, violent, crazy clowns, which might have been great if they were big in stature, but they were both very skinny, little, kind of young people. And they were nice when they were not there, but it was just weird. I'm like, that was probably not the way to go. So these other dudes were like, it just would punch them.
Ah.
So what happened? The reason why I tell you that is because at one point, one of the texts is like, one of the clouds just got escorted off property. I'm like, ooh, I had 20 on this one clown. Was that him? They're like, no, I didn't actually bet, but I was thinking about starting a pool. I'm like, all right, I'm going to say a baker's dozen how many times this one dude gets punched in the face for the whole run. But so no, they're like, no, there was this other clown that he was kind of an older guy, kind of was quiet, And I'm like, oh, I knew which one he was talking about because he was describing what, because each clown had different makeup sets and shit. And I'm like, oh, he seemed like he was kind of put together fairly well, man. Like he was doing all right. And they're like, like, really? So what was going on there? He's like, well, he used to do things like he abandoned the room that he was working in and the haunted house, or he would go on break and just like not come back for an hour or something. And we're like, shit, it was weird because this was the last day. And they're like, yeah, he did it
Yeah.
again. And they found him walking along the access road just outside of the park. And they're like, so they were trying to talk to him, like, dude, you need to go back. This is the last day, whatever. And this guy was getting really belligerent, which was odd because it was like unlike him. And then they noticed because it's all dark back there, right? As they're getting in the light, they notice that he has a crack pipe in his hand. And I just immediately thinking, I'm like, dude, they didn't fucking fire Cracky the Clown, did they? That guy was my favorite. Like, not Cracky. He was the scariest clown here, man. Just tell parents, like, listen, we're going to put you in the room with a demonic clown on crack. It was like, he had this great trick where he found out where you lived, he'd make your TV disappear. Like, I was like, that's fucking amazing. This is the best night that I could have hoped for. Like, so I told that story on stage last night. Holy shit, it actually did pretty well. But I'm like, dude, fucking Cracky the Clown. Come on. You want a scary clown. That's the one you want.
It's like the clown from It. There's $20 PlayStation 5s down here.
Yeah, exactly. Really? You know.
Yeah.
So it was, yeah, that whole thing was a great fucking experience. I noticed just doing from the set that I did last night, which is only one set, and I'm gonna fucking eat shit at some point. I know that, but it feels completely different being on stage now. Like I was
Yeah.
way more at ease, like way more at ease, and just slowed things down. I was making more eye contact with the audience and stuff. Really, what little audience they had at Abbott and Wallace last night, and I'm like, oh shit, something's definitely changed. This is gonna be freaking interesting. So I'm curious to see how things go. Uh,
So, so because can we say what's going on with the certain person who hosts that? That he's already
oh,
out.
yeah. I mean, I
Okay.
didn't
Well,
tell
since
nobody told me in confidence or anything, so that's their fault.
okay.
They said don't talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, sorry.
Well, since yeah, no, yeah. So since Mandy's leaving for Austin, who's
Mm.
taking over the show?
Catherine Shea,
I don't think I know her.
older lady, glasses, long blonde hair. If you've probably seen her at some of the mics and stuff, but she was a good host. She hosted last night, and I thought that she did a good job.
Well, that's cool. Okay.
I don't know necessarily how the showcases are going to go, but I still like, that mic is a great mic. I love going in that room. I might talk to Mandy and be like, hey, Mandy, before you go, do you want me to put that on the list so people know to go there? Because I'm going to start putting things out there and being like, guys, you need to get out of your fucking comfort zone. There's a lot of mics that I don't want to go to that I'm going to force myself to start going to, just to say that I did it, just so that way I know what it's like, so that way I can do that. The only problem is I just don't like going to mics when I see like 30 or 40 fucking comics on the list. And I'm like, dude, by the
Yeah.
time I go up, everybody's going to be left out. This is a waste of my time. I should show up earlier next time, you know what I mean? And then do that. But for the most part, I'm like, yeah. I've already done my El Chorito phase. You know what I mean? Where I'd be
Yeah, I
willing
hate that shit.
when I'd be willing to wait all night just to get 5 minutes and stuff. And I liked it back then, but now it's kind of like, yeah, I've done that. I want to tell my jokes and see if they work or not and see how it feels on stage. And then I'm going to go do something else. But that's just me
Nothing
because
like
we're a couple of old guys.
nothing like having a guy who can do comedy half as long as you
Yeah.
telling you have to earn the right to go early. Fucking gotta love that shit.
Yeah. Well, luckily nobody's told me that. So, and also, even more luckily, I haven't headbutted anybody in the nose. When I do it. You want to
Yeah.
earn the right? Tell you what, you can earn the right in front of me to keep breathing, you little fucker. No, I get it because you know what it is. I mean, this happens with anything. Is that once a community is established, a hierarchy comes right after that. And there are some folks who are really good at moving up that hierarchy, even though they really shouldn't. Um, and then there's other folks that don't know who are really talented, but they don't know how to move up or how to actually, let's say, talk to anybody and all this other stuff. Not kiss people's asses. I'm not saying that, but they they're awkward enough where they keep going unnoticed, and that's kind of on them, I think. And that's how I see myself, and I'm like, yeah, people don't know my work. That's my fault, not because of they're not purposely not paying attention. If I'm
Yeah.
crushing well enough in any mic, even if they're trying not to listen to me, they can't ignore the laughter. So you know what I mean. So as long as I can do that, that's then I'm doing my job. But there's a lot of craziness. Ty Rivera has this podcast called Unbothered, and if you want to know, like, he's the most brutally honest comic that I've known. Like, some of the posts that he'll put up will be like, "Hey, if I tell you your act needs work, I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm telling you that your act needs work, and I know this because I'm way better at this than most of you out there. So fucking get to work." And I'm
Well,
like, dude, I appreciate shit like that he puts out there. But yeah, he had some crazy stories. I think of some folks who befriended him thinking they were going to move up the ladder, and Ty is kind of like, if you can't fucking produce laughter, if you can't fucking do good work, then it doesn't matter who you're
yeah.
friends
Well,
with.
good, good. He should be like that.
Yeah. So
Yeah. I mean, that's yeah.
check out the last couple of episodes on his podcast on YouTube, guys. Trust me, it's worth a listen. Um, yeah, it's strange. And you know what? This is something that I've been really trying to focus on, is by not focusing on other people or anything that upsets me in the scene. I know some folks are like, you just got to let it go. I'm like, and I hated that phrase. I'm like, I don't feel like letting shit
Yeah.
go. But what I can do is, well, like, I can be upset at as much of the shit, or I think that's like not right in whatever scene. Because by the way, guys, if I was in Phoenix, I'd be talking the same shit about the Phoenix scene. If I was in LA, I would be talking the same shit about the LA. It really doesn't matter what scene that I'm in. I'm probably going to feel the same way, because this is kind of one of the ways I use to hold myself back. Um, is it hating on somebody else? If it made me funnier, I would be fucking a national headliner by now. You know what I mean? But it doesn't. So, like, getting pissed off at
Yeah.
anybody else doesn't make my jokes or my timing work any better. So I was like, well, it's wasted energy. You know?
Yeah. It can be a waste of energy. It's kind of why I got the hell out of there, because I just couldn't. I don't know. It was one of those things like, yes, you're right about that, but like just certain things about that. Yeah, I couldn't let it go, and
Yeah.
I just lost respect for it, and
Yeah.
that's part of the reason why I got it. But I didn't want to make it about that, because there was other reasons why I left, and
Yeah.
and but at the same time, like I don't know, I just I started seeing stuff happening, and I was like, I don't want to be a part of this, you
Mm.
know. But um, but yeah, it is hard to like just say when they go, yeah, just let it go. Hey, it's hard to do that,
Yeah.
because like you're basically like you're trying to gaslight yourself into being like, well, that didn't happen. I can't do that.
Oh no,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
yeah, and I totally get it, because I think that's what other folks are asking for, and I'm like, no, the only way, I'm like, no, what I saw pisses me off. I am angry about that. I'm going to be very angry. I'm not going to stop being angry about it. But the way that what I'm going to choose to move forward is that I'm going to, like, rather than focus all the energy on them. I'd be like, oh, you know what, I can. It was this phrase I fucking hated hearing when I first started comedy, or first started getting into this, but now I'm starting to get it, where they said you have to be undeniable.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So, meaning, like, whether they like you or hate you, they still think it's funny. Whether they agree with you or disagree with you, they still laugh. You know what I mean? That you're trying to be there, trying to be the funniest person in the room, like me, leave the biggest impression, the biggest smiles. And when you get to that point, even if they freaking hate you, they can't freaking deny the fact that you're a great addition to any show. And,
yeah,
and even if they don't see it, somebody else fucking will, and then you'll move on from there. So, um, yeah, it's that's the only positive way that I could deal with all that, because I hate it when folks, and this kind of goes in with the the fucking title of this episode, the be your own best friend or some shit. Um, and actually taking care of yourself is like, it's not about ignoring the shit that pisses you off. You could acknowledge it and see where it's coming from, but really, ultimately, it's not. They're not the ones who are really, really fucking making your life miserable. It's taking that information and, like, all right, I'm gonna stew on this for a long period of time instead of doing something about it. Now you could do something vengeful, like, there's something you could do about it. Like,
Yeah.
you could plot their demise, or you could just get funnier and like, you know, the way I see it is like, I'm going to take the thing that you love the most, I'm going to do a better job at it than you are, and you're going to have to live with that. You know, zoom right past it. But you know, easier said than done. We got a lot of shit to move forward to. But
It's just it's a matter of how much energy you want to put into it.
yeah,
Because we've only got a certain amount of bandwidth,
mm-hmm.
and do you want to spend that much all that energy on that? No,
Yeah.
because it's not going to do you any good.
I do that with my day job all the freaking time. With my all the time,
Yeah.
there was always somebody on my shit list. It's only for the past 2 weeks, really, that I really kept catching myself at it. Every time I saw something that I didn't agree with, or I wanted to say you need to do something different, I'm like, fucking work on your next joke. Work on your next
Yeah.
joke. You know, you really, really hate the situation, then be the person you want to be, and actually have a career in comedy instead of having a career just fucking making pizzas all day. Which I don't. I enjoy the job that I have right now. I've got everything that I've wanted, so it's not like I hate it. But the thing is that I had this ideal situation that I've wanted for so long. I finally got it, and the first thing I do was find something to be pissed off about.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I wanted to get paid for acting for so long. I get a job where I get paid to act, and what's the first thing I do? Find somebody that pisses me off. It's not.
Yeah.
It's a subconscious thing where suddenly something I see that irks me, and I can't fucking let it go. I'm like, God damn it, I'm doing it again. You know,
Yep.
like you.
Oh, amen to that.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I'm the same exact way.
Yeah.
Like I should have had the time of my life. I should have been happier than a pig in shit the whole time I was in Denver.
Yeah.
I mean, for crying out loud, weed got legal when I
Mm.
first moved there, which is like my 14-year-old fucking me as a 14-year-old. That's my dream.
Yeah.
You know, I did a speech in government class when I was a senior in high school
Right.
about Normel. You know what Normel is, right?
No.
The National Organization for Reforming Marijuana Laws.
Oh, okay. I think. Oh, you know what? Now
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
say that, I have heard of that.
yeah. I did a speech on that. So like I'm all about it. Like I've been about legal weed my entire life.
Right.
And then I finally get it, and I started hating it. I remember watching an interview with Roseanne,
Mm-hmm.
and she was talking about her time on the show when when the show was first going,
Yeah.
not the second iteration when they fired her
Yeah.
for some bullshit.
Right.
But
Like if they could have looked in the future and see what the other shit that people were gonna say, they'd be like, you know what, Roseanne didn't really say anything that bad. Now that we look at it,
yeah.
it's kind of tame.
No, but like she said that the whole time she was doing the show, she was fucking miserable and she goes, I don't know why. So what I always wanted.
Yeah.
I wanted to have my own sitcom. I wanted it to be a hit. I wanted to make all this money,
Mm-hmm.
and I got all those things, and I was just still wasn't happy.
Yeah.
And it could be because I don't know. I don't know why. Like I think it's because like you think it's gonna go a certain way,
Yeah.
and then it's like you want it to be like in a perfect way.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's not perfect, you're like, this fucking sucks. You know what I mean?
It could be really depressing, right? Like I actually went through that, man. There was a disjointed episode that I did about that. I think it was like week 2 or week 3 of the whole run. And I'm like, I've got everything going for me the way that I want it. How come I don't feel happier right now? And what I was thinking about is that because I'm always thinking there's where I want to be physical health wise, which I'm very far from that. But you know, I've got a couple more doctor's appointments and stuff, and I might. Hopefully, they're going to start putting me on, hopefully on TRT by the end of November, maybe, possibly. That's what I'm kind of telling myself. So get ready for a bunch of inappropriate charges coming my way for, you know, I'm going to do some really stupid shit, guys. But I'm going to keep y'all informed. Just, you know, tune in. But the whole thing is that happiness, all those things that I wanted to happen to me or get to experience, there were still other parts of my life that weren't where I wanted them to be. You know what I mean? So it's like if you got there's 5 things you want in your life, and you got 3 of those, and you should be excited too. You know, 3 out of 5 ain't bad, but those other 2, because you don't have all 5 of them. You know, I'm still freaking overweight. I'm still this. I'm still that. I still got these fucking issues I got to deal with my car and all this other stuff. And it was really, really easy to dismiss all the great things that were happening and only focus on the shit that was negative. And I think the main reason for that is that I spent my whole life focusing on that negativity, surrounded by people who also felt the same way, you know, family members and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, well, yeah, you don't know how to fucking be happy with simple
Yeah,
things. You don't have the training for it. It's like asking somebody, like, I need you to figure out this astrophysics problem. Like, I know basic math. And I'm like, well, do your best. You know, I'm
yeah,
like, yeah, I'm not going to fucking do that. You know what I mean? So I think that's the way I kind of saw that. I'm like, oh, I got some more work to do. And you wouldn't think you would need to learn how to be happy, but I'm like, there's a lot of things like when something good comes my way, I immediately like mistrust everything. Like, you're doing a
yeah.
great
Like,
job. What are you talking about? What's your plan? You know?
well, yeah, or that, and also like it's it's like it's too good to be true. Like
Yeah,
there's a catch
you're
or
waiting
something.
for the other shoe to drop. You know what I mean? So
Oh
uh,
yeah,
fucking
I
craziness
don't
about
know.
that stuff, man.
Well, that's just that's the mindset of somebody that's like kind of like, and I'm saying this from experience. It's kind of like the mindset of a person who's like, what's the word? You're very pessimistic.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you've kind of been let down so many times that you're kind of used to it.
Yeah,
So when good shit happens to you, you're like, wait a minute, what's the catch?
I
What's
think
going on here? Yeah,
could it be said that a pessimist is somebody who enjoys being right more than they enjoy being happy?
yeah, pretty much.
You know, um, I know, like my dad wasn't a super miserable person, but you know, what the job that he was doing wasn't necessarily what he wanted to do with his life. You know, he was happy that he had a lot of good things. He, you know, had a family that you know that really cared for him and all this other stuff. But he was always bitching about something from
Yeah,
work. You know what I mean? So I kind of picked up on that. That oh, that's what work is. You know, you'll be reasonably content, but you're always going to be pissed off about something. You know,
yeah,
I don't know. Your dad kind of worked mostly by himself, or did he work? He worked in like I know doing like batteries and like generators and stuff, right?
yeah. He was what he would do is he would rewind electric motors,
Okay,
like big fucking ones, like ones for like hydroelectric power plants. And
right,
when he moved out here, it was for like the windmills and also for the mines and stuff.
right.
These things are like they vary from like they're like the size of a washing machine to
Mm-hmm.
like the size of like a whole pickup truck.
Right.
And basically, what they would do is basically gut the shit out of it, like take all the copper wiring out of it, all that stuff,
Yeah.
and then rewire it with copper in like in a certain fashion,
Right.
and then like and basically put it back together again, test it, and all this stuff. There's like a process to it.
All right. But I'm
But
gonna.
that's but
Sorry. Go ahead.
oh, but he got that job without he never made it past 10th grade.
Yeah.
And that job entails a lot of math,
Yeah.
a lot of math, and he knew how to do it. And he was very old school, and he's very do it his way type of thing, and he had
Yeah.
his own way to do it. But when he came out here, they wanted to modernize it, and he was like too old for that shit.
Yeah.
So it was over. So
But I imagine he was probably wasn't the type of dude that came home like, dude, I had the best day at work today. Like,
no,
no.
no, he was fucking miserable about it.
So that's
But like
what.
it was, but it was his wife though. It was like his. I remember when he got $30 an hour, he was so happy.
Mm,
That was like the one marker in his life he wanted, and he got
that
it,
that's
and
good.
he got it. You know, but then he was only happy for like about a week,
Yeah.
and then he's miserable again.
Yeah. I forgot. I get you get more money. Yeah, but I'm doing the same shit. I don't even want to. You know.
Yeah,
So I'm wondering if just not. I'm not blaming this on our dads, but it's just like, well, if that's one of the examples that we saw that working a job is miserable, then when we do have something that we actually enjoy doing, like, why do you want to feel like you're miserable at it? I'm like, I don't know. I still want to be part of like my dad. I don't know. Or it's just, you know, like, well, that's what he did. That's, you know, I'm not fucking put food on the table. I guess this is what I'm doing. And it's really, really bizarre, you know? So either way, that
yeah,
was something I noticed over this past month. And I'm like, that's something to fucking work on, you know? It's, this whole show is about kind of like self improvement while making dick jokes. If you guys haven't figured this out yet, and
yeah. That's exactly. That's what people who get mad at us about the name of it.
yeah,
It makes me laugh because we don't really go out of our way to shit on women. We really
yeah,
don't. In fact, we barely even talk about them.
yeah,
In fact, when we do talk about them, it's mostly how we could have done shit differently.
yeah.
So you know,
By the way, I'm waiting
not,
for the female version of the show. By the way, guys,
oh, that
uh,
ain't happening.
I would love to see a show where there's a couple of girls who are like, all right, this is where we fucked up and how we could have been better people. This is how I made this one dude crazy in a relationship, and this is the part that I mean, he was still an asshole, but this is what I fucked up on, and this is what I did wrong, and this is how I learned how not to do it. This is how I found out what bad habits that I had, and I did doesn't involve blaming everybody else. I'm waiting for that fucking show. I would love to see that show, and then we could do a fucking side by side. Fuck it, I would love to do like a Zoom, uh, like a simulcast with somebody like that. There has to be something out there where I'm like, yeah, I don't know what they would call it. I mean, but it's if anybody out there who listens to this episode, whether it's on Spreaker or if it's on Spotify or iHeartRadio or any of those great places you listen to podcasts, and you're like, oh, I know a podcast, fucking let us know. Go to the Facebook page, The Mansplaining with Jake and Dave, and be like, yo, check out this podcast. I will listen to it. And we'll see what this is because I think these are like super important conversations to have. But at some
Yeah,
point where, and this is only because of just of where this perspective or point of view where I'm looking at, because I don't know if there's got to be a couple of shows out there like that. We just don't know where they are, right?
yeah.
So if you see all these shows about guys trying to be better people, I'm like, where's the female equivalent of this thing? Because why the fuck are these guys, these dumbass fucking betas lifting everything? Wait, I just answered my own question. Never mind. But
Yep, yep, yep.
you know what I mean? Where it's kind of like we're symbiotic, right? We're a symbiotic species. Men and women, they have to figure out like there can't be one without the other on a grand scale. Otherwise, the species dies off. Right? You need that to reproduce until they figure out the CRISPR shit, and we'd all just fucking, do like Prometheus and like jizz in somebody's pool, and then they fucking make babies out of it or something. you know. But if until that happens, like men and women have to learn how to work together, and it seems like um, I'm not saying it's not unbalanced, but um, as the human race becomes more evolved, at least technologically wise and stuff. I mean, the emotional involvement comes at a much slower pace, but you know, we still all freaking had to learn how to evolve together. Like guys are still guys no matter what, and it freaking sucks because there's certain bullshit that that's hardwired in and takes a lot to freaking work against. But look at this way. Look at the way that like in movies how men acted towards women in the 50s. You can't pull that shit anymore and expect anybody to go out on a date with you. Like there was an
Nope.
evolution about this, right? And then it kind of, as it keeps going, it keeps going, and it keeps rising, and but I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. I guess what I'm saying, ladies, is you need to do better. Is what I'm saying.
Be better.
Yeah,
Be better,
be
ladies.
better.
Be better.
I fucking hate that. Like, listen,
My,
on my Arizona page where of all the open mics and stuff, like I'll put anybody's. Oh, there's only one mic that I haven't put on there because I think it was just a one-off. And they're like, well, I don't know how this is going to go. And I'm like, well, let me know if you're going to do a monthly. Even if it's a monthly show, I'll put it on the list. But don't
yeah,
ask me to put your one off mic that you don't know how it's going to go. Like, make a fucking plan for it. You know what I mean? Like, like nobody's paying for this page, which is fine. I'm not asking for anything. But the only thing, well, not monetarily. The only thing I'm asking is that, like, I don't know, try to keep the mic going for longer than a week or two. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
keep that fucking party going. So, either way, like I think I took one mic off the list that didn't. It was canceled for that weekend. I thought it was canceled completely, and I don't know. I'll have to reach out to them and stuff. But either way, one of the mics is called the Do Better Comedy Mic, and I fucking hate that name so much. Which doesn't matter what I think about whoever's listening, but it's just something that's like such a snotty fucking thing to say, to somebody else. Like just do.
Now, do better as in, like, how do they mean it?
It seems like something you would say to a dog.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. But, like, what I mean by that is, like, is it, like, do better comedy? Like, as
Yeah.
far as, like, get better? Or is it, like, don't punch down or some
Oh,
shit
it's
like that?
definitely don't punch down. Uh,
Yeah, fuck
but
that.
but the thing is, I will say this because I don't know this person. I'm not going to talk shit about him. They put out and the info that they do on Facebook, everything that they're looking for, or what they want, or what they definitely don't want at that mic. And it's their mic; they could do whatever they want with it. Absolutely, I don't fucking believe in the comedy police, or the other side of that, the comedy freedom fighter that needs to fucking make sure that every mic works exactly the same. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
um, it's better than having all those rules. You go up there and you start with, like, I got this joke about this word cunt, and then watching the whole thing and they cut your mic off and like, don't do that. You need to leave here right now. And I'm like, well, if I would have known about it, I wouldn't have come to this mic in the first place. At least they gave that fair warning to everybody. So, um, if I do ever come out to Phoenix, I'm definitely going to check it out because I want to see how. I'm not going to sign up for it, but I just want to see how many people actually show up for it. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm just going to be here as an audience member and listen to your guys' comedy for as long as I could stand it. I mean, as long as I'm available.
What day of the week is it on?
I think it's on Monday.
Oh fuck! There's no way I can go then.
Yeah. Let's see. They actually sent me a. What did they send me? Nope. What the fuck is it? Either way, it's not that important. Well, I could look it up right now. So you guys in the Phoenix area could definitely go check out this mic, this little shindig and stuff. As soon as I forgot because when I'm streaming, my internet connection is super fucking slow.
Shit.
Yeah.
Bandwidth.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking bandwidth, man.
I'm using all of it right now. Let's see. You ever get those like birthday messages on Facebook by people you don't remember being friends with?
Yep. I had 4 of them today alone. It was like some guy that I did a show for in fucking Maine like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him since. And then there's a couple other people that I haven't seen in like almost a decade.
Like,
that are not that I met as comedians and then they're just regular ass people.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know who the hell this person is. Get the fuck off of my timeline now. Do Better Comedy presents an open mic November 8th, listed 7 p.m., show 7:30 to 10. By the way, I commend this person for actually not doing what every other mic in Phoenix does and say, show's going to start at 7, get here at 4:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, right?
There's no reason to be there earlier than a half hour before. It doesn't take an hour for everybody to get on the list. So like freaking half hour, keep that shit moving. Let's see, and it's going to be at the Second Beat Improv Theater, so that's a good spot for it, I think. And it's going to be in Central Phoenix, I believe. Either way, I'm going to put all that information up on the page on phxopenmics.com, and you guys can check out the other stuff there. One of the things, just looking, I was going back and forth between the Colorado and the Phoenix page. Man, it's really easy to take for granted all the mics they have in Colorado.
Yeah.
We just assume that every night there's at least 4 to 5 mics or some places to go to. Anywhere in Colorado, man, in Arizona, there really, really isn't. And there's plenty of bars out there. There's plenty of coffee shops. There's plenty of everything out there. Just, I don't understand. Maybe they're asking for too much money up front, or they're not asking for any money at all to run these mics. Or it's also because, like, if it's anywhere in Mesa, man, that chances are, Phoenix is a fairly religious town, especially when you get out to Mesa, because that's where most of the Mormons are. Not that they're only in Mesa, but a lot of places, like on Main Street on Mesa, they're going to ask for like PG-13 stuff because they don't want to hear vulgar stuff. They don't want to hear sacrilegious stuff. There's a lot of shit like that. Maybe that's it. The cool places already have plenty of business, so they don't need a fucking open mic. The Tempe Tavern one was kind of interesting because it's kind of a jockey bro type of bar that's close to ASU. But for the most part, it's kind of like there's no... Let's put it this way. If Strange Grounds wouldn't have had that fire, that mic would probably still be going on if they haven't gotten evicted. You know what I mean? Because those guys, Frida really, really cared about comedy and performing arts. So she was willing to support that. There was a lot of other places and stuff that were like that. Fucking Lions Lair, one of the longest running mics in all of Denver, man. They're still there because they support comedy and they want to see some freaking crazy shit and people are into it. I don't think there's a place like that in Phoenix right now. So, I don't know. But so Phoenix, I'm saying there's a lot of opportunity for you guys. And just let me know whatever the fucking mic is. As long as it's not a one-off, I will put it up on the page. So...
Yeah, I mean, when I finally get out and start doing it again, it's one of those things too where I'm just trying to like get my shit together and figure out what I can and can't do.
Yeah.
Because one of my goals is to have my own place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like my own place, not like with a roommate. Right? I would like to get a one bedroom
Yeah.
by myself. I've never, ever, ever lived by myself
Oh,
in
dude,
my life.
that's great.
Is it? Yeah, is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know. I've never done it. I
Oh,
literally have never done it in my life.
it's weird. You might want to get like a dog or something or a goldfish or whatever, but you know, like, but still, no,
Yeah.
it's great living by. I learned a lot. I definitely needed that time alone when growing up, where I'm like, I don't want to be around anybody. So like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think you dig it.
Yeah. No, I mean, everywhere I've ever lived, I've lived with roommates. I was married. I was with a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've never, and then when I grew up with like fucking four siblings. Never had, so never had my own personal space.
Yeah. It's gonna be a blessing and a curse sometimes. Sometimes it's kind of like, oh shit, at least I need to fucking have some contact with somebody. Because you'll see some of the dudes
Well,
have been living alone by themselves in Phoenix for years, and you could tell that they're not like they lost the ability to have a normal conversation with anybody. Like,
yeah, yeah.
they're
I
out
just
there
want to see if
too.
I like it. I just want to see if I like it, and after like a year, if I'm like this sucks,
Mm,
maybe it will. I don't know, but I would just like to see if it's for me. That's
right.
it.
I
I've
think it.
never done it. Yeah.
I think you dig it, man. I think you dig it. Uh, well, shit. That was kind of I think everything that we had to kind of talk about, right? As far as being your own best friend, right? I think there was, unless there was
Yeah.
something else you had on your mind and didn't.
Uh, I don't have anything to promote either.
Yeah, I know. Me neither. I've already talked about the fucking website enough. Shit. Well, you know what, guys? Let me promote something else then. Let's see. There was a great conversation with Rogan and Gilbert Gottfried this week, which was
I gotta
fucking.
watch that.
Yeah, that one was pretty good. The one with Ari Shafir, what was it? Who's Shane Gillis and Mark Norman, like the four of them with
Yeah.
Rogan and stuff. That was a fun fucking podcast. Like, if you're a comic that hasn't hung out with comics for a while, listen to that podcast. You'll fucking love it. Yeah, and I think that, and always check out Dan Carlin's Hardcore History. I'm listening, I can listen to some brutal shit about the fucking um, Persian Empire and stuff. It's fucking awesome. So I don't know. Educate yourself, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right.
I mean, there's some political stuff, but it's not. It's I'm done. I don't give a fuck about it anymore.
Yeah.
It is funny watching a black lady win the lieutenant governorship of Virginia,
Mhm.
and they say that she's a poster child for white supremacy. That is hilarious. I
Yeah.
think this whole racism thing has jumped the shark.
Yeah.
It
Pretty
really has.
much. Well,
I mean, I'm not saying it's not a thing, but I think the people that are screaming about it the most either want to keep it alive to make more money, a
Yeah.
la Sharpton and all those guys, or B, they're like the fucking people screaming witch in Salem.
Yeah.
Everyone's a witch. Everyone's a witch. And I think people are starting to finally catch on, like, yo, you guys are fucking out of your mind. Like,
Yeah.
we're not like this, so if you're going to act like this, we're not going to vote for you.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people out there who probably would have never dreamed in their life they voted Republican.
Yeah.
Who voted Republican in this election?
Well, West
so,
Virginia they always tend to go the other way, whoever the incumbent is, because they did the same thing when Obama was president. And by the way, Biden administration doing the same thing what Obama administration is. When you have the fucking House as well as the Senate and the executive branch and try to put together a bill that nobody fucking wants to get on board with. So like, congratulations,
yep.
you did it again. It's kind of like they did with healthcare. I'm like, all right, we're going to do this thing. All right, but single payer has to go. All right. By the way, all the other things that are supposed to be good in that, yeah, that has to go too. So instead of giving people health insurance, we're just going to say we're going to give them access to it. Like, you could not get health insurance before, you just couldn't afford it. So we're not changing shit. Like, so
yeah.
There's that crazy stuff. By the way, I'll say this because I'm not super political guy. I'm probably do another episode with Derek Blanton, but I'm just gonna be like, yeah, whoever the incumbent is, I'm voting the other way. That's basically that's.
Go ahead.
I'm curious to see if Polis gets reelected. I doubt that he will in the next cycle.
Yeah.
There's so many businesses that are
Yeah.
going to be against him. Like, we're not forgetting the time where you fucking strong armed that one fucking restaurant out in Castle Rock who was defying the order, and you basically took away all their licensing and stuff, and how you basically made so many businesses go under. So if
Yeah,
they just would have
that's
done
gonna correct
cocaine like
by
the governor in Florida and just fucking just say, let's keep this party going, maybe there might be a few more businesses. There might be a lot more deaths, but you know what? Money. So whatever. But, yeah, I'd be surprised
but
if Polis gets reelected.
so yeah, that and on the same kind of the same vein.
Mm-hmm.
You heard what happened with Aaron Rodgers, right?
No.
Aaron Rodgers got COVID.
Okay.
He got COVID. Apparently, he's not vaccinated.
Okay.
So, and when he was asked in the press conference at the beginning of the year, he said he was immunized.
Uh.
So but they didn't ask to follow up, so he didn't volunteer the information.
Right.
So he gets COVID about 2 or 3 days ago, and everyone's like, he's not even vaccinated. I watched a little bit of ESPN like yesterday morning, and that's all they talked. That's all I talked about.
Right.
Just how dare he? He's putting people at risk and all this shit, right?
Right.
So I watched Pat McAfee. He's the ex punter for the Colts. The guy's all personality. He's great. He's an awesome sports watch. You're a big sports fan, dude. Especially football.
Yeah.
He's a great watch.
Sweet.
It's a great show. But on every Tuesday he interviews Aaron Rodgers, like one-on-one, and talks to him. So this is like his guy now. So when this shit hit the fan, he went on Pat McAfee's show, and they just let him talk. They didn't interrupt him. They just let him talk.
Right.
And you want to talk about based? Holy shit, dude! Aaron Rodgers is like, yeah, man, these vaccines, this and that. Like, he goes, I don't trust them. I don't think you should. I don't want to get it because I don't think it's healthy for me. And and all this stuff. And I was going to get the Johnson & Johnson one, but then it started blood clotting.
Yeah.
And then this and that. And then he starts going after the woke mob, like legitimately calls him like the woke mob.
Right.
Like he's going on that rail, and it was awesome.
Right.
I'm just like, no shit. Like, and apparently there's like a lot of football players that feel exactly the same way that he does. Because I guess in the NFL, like, you cannot be vaccinated. That's the thing. You could still play, not be vaccinated. But the shit you got to go through as a non-vaccinated fucking player is insane. Like, you have to get tested on the daily, right? Every day. And if it's a morning game, you have to get tested at 5 a.m. in the morning. Like, if you're playing like a noon game,
right?
5 a.m. You have to get tested, wait in your car until you get the negative results, and then you can go into the building.
Right.
For meetings and practices and shit like that.
Right.
Then you have to wear masks the whole time. Right. But even he acknowledged, like, even with the vaccine, though, you can still spread it. So how am I the problem here? I don't get it. Oh, he just went. He didn't go off, but he was very calm about how this is bullshit. This reeks of bullshit. Blah. Right down the line. And every one of that, because they're a bunch of sports dudes. They said, like, they never talk politics in that show. Never do. Because it's just a sports show.
On top of that, most of those guys, everybody on there is going to be healthier because their whole job depends on them being healthy. So it's not like they're a bunch of meatheads just going, fucking, I don't give a shit. Like, no, dude, if you got a $30 million contract riding on your body feeling good, trust me, you're going to pay attention to it. You know what I mean?
Well, they made the point that, like, Russell Wilson, the quarterback for the Seahawks, he spends like $1 million a year on treatments for his body. Like, all, I'm saying, like, we're talking like, what, name it, fucking, like, we're talking like diet, exercise, training, all that shit. Like, he spends over $1 million a year. Tom Brady has the most weirdest fucking diet, to where, like, the one thing he eats on cheat day is fucking avocado ice cream.
Yeah.
That's his cheat day.
Wow.
He is a bowl of avocado. You know what I'm saying? But granted, he's almost 45 years old. He looks like he's fucking 30.
Yeah.
So, so these guys are well in tune with their bodies, and they're like, nah, I don't want to get the vaccine. I mean, they make a good point. Like, if you just stay healthy, you're gonna be fine. Like, you should be fine. There might be some fluke cases, but, like,
I've had a couple people get sick at in my job, and I'm like, all right. And the only thing I can do, man, is that somebody says, like, dude, so and so got sick. I'm like, okay. Yeah. Like, well, he got COVID. And I'm like, did you get vaccinated? Yeah. Okay. You've done everything you can, right? I'm like, well, I mean, if he got sick, I'm like, no. You've done everything you can, right? Yeah. Okay. That's it. It's out of your hands now. That's all there is
Yeah.
to it. And like, oh, I don't know why people trust the science. I'm like, science, the science, like there's only one science, like only one true God. Okay, first of all, I don't believe that. Second of all, I don't know when people started. And by the way, I'm not anti-vax. I fucking hate the fact that we got to say this shit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
since when were the pharmaceutical companies ever your friend? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like these are people that basically their whole purpose is convincing you that you're that you know like, hey, do you sleep at night? You know, like holy shit, I do sleep at night. You know, that's an old hack joke though. But I'm like, yeah, pharmaceutical companies aren't your friend. Like they never have been. You know, it's like insurance companies are not your friend. They have those nice little State Farm commercials, but when push comes to shove, they make more money by not giving you any. They're not your friends. You know, pharmaceutical companies make more money by treating the illness instead of curing it. They are not your friends. So, like, I'm not saying people shouldn't get the vaccine, but this whole idea, this blind trust, like, you have to do it. I'm like, okay, you know, like when they started taking all of our rights away from after 9/11, and I'm like, dude, the government's not going to do anything bad about this. Come on, they're not going to overreach.
Oh
No,
yeah, yeah. There's no
so
way.
it's one of those things where I don't necessarily believe the government is necessarily your friend either. They shouldn't be your enemy, but it's just one of those things where it's kind of like you're only. I think we're focusing on just this one little part of the argument, and I'm not saying that my focus is better. I'm just saying is that um, I'm way more. I'm a cynical asshole. I guess is what I'm saying. You know, like, well, you could put other people's in danger. I'm like, great. How many fucking Sunday brunches have you ever waited tables in? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I waited tables and bartended for way too long. I should have stopped a long time ago. 4 or 5 years should be enough of that job, not fucking 15 to 25. All right. So I
Yeah.
am telling you is that when it comes to like, Dave, we need you to save the general public. And I'm like, I am not the person for it. Like, don't you
Yeah.
want to help? I'm going to be honest with you. Fucking did a double, only walked out with $100. I don't give a fuck about anybody right now. Like, I am pissed off. I just spent 10 hours and worked for $10 an hour and people like, and I got to do this again next week. And you know, it's people keep asking for ranch for stupid shit, and I don't give a shit anymore. You know, so yeah, it's just it's fucking crazy. But I'm glad to see at least they didn't fucking censor the whole thing on YouTube, which is great. I don't think
Well,
YouTube is
well,
censoring all the time, but I think there's when they do something, it's kind of like, come on, man, stop. You know,
well, the thing is, I don't. The thing is, they normally clip those interviews to where you can watch it by itself
right?
because it's like he does like a 4 hour long show
Right.
every weekday, right? And it's all football talk and stuff like that. But he's an entertaining dude, so it's a fun watch.
Yeah.
But man, if they clip that and it's still on the internet, I'll be shocked because he says some base shit
Wow.
where he makes some great points where he's like, hey man, you guys find it weird? This is everybody like Aaron Rodgers,
Uh-huh.
multiple NFL MVP, Super Bowl winner, Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
He's like you guys don't find it weird that when Trump was president, all these liberals were like, I'm not taking the vaccine, and then once Biden won, they're like, we're taking the vaccine.
Yeah.
Like how it flipped. He goes,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't weird you out at all. And I'm just like, holy shit, Aaron Rodgers is base as fuck. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh, that one I thought of
I
that
love it.
too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking weird. I mean, it's not. But then you bring it up, you're like, oh, you don't want, and they do the whole believe in science. But dude, science is not meant to be believed.
Yeah.
It's not meant to. It's supposed to be saw with skepticism. All of it.
Yeah.
Unless it's a law,
Yeah.
like law of gravity, shit like that.
Right.
Then there's no debating it. It is what it is. But like, dude, like the theory of relativity is still a theory.
Yeah, exactly.
You,
Like this is how shit works. Not necessarily.
I mean, not 100%. If you can figure out a way, yeah. I mean, granted, you're gonna have to do a hell of a lot of work to really try and, because the guy who got that far was a genius.
Yeah.
Because Albert Einstein. So like, you're gonna have to outwork. It's prove Albert Einstein wrong. Good luck with
Right.
that shit. But it's possible unless you can prove without a shadow of a doubt at all, like even a crumb of doubt that which that's the thing with science. That's why it's great. But
Yeah.
when you
It's
go believe the science, dude, like you're not supposed to. That's the fucking point of it.
yeah. You're
You
supposed
know
to
what I mean?
question the science. Religion, you're supposed to believe. See, that's the
Yeah,
difference, guys. Questioning the
yeah,
science, believe in religion. You don't believe in but you guys are believing the science and questioning the religion. You got to, you have to, I don't know. It's a weird thing, but yeah, they're trying to figure out. I guess they're supposed to make some decision, like in some of the counties, of whether or not they're going to enforce like vaccine cards and stuff or not. I'm like, man, I hope they don't.
Ooh,
But they might leave
yeah,
it up to the artist though. Like if Wade was telling me about the venue, they could leave that up to the artist whoever's performing there. So like if so and so
yeah,
wants to perform there and say, listen, I need people. I need to know if people are vaxxed, where they've all that nobody's sick and stuff like that. Well, it's the artist performing there. I kind of get that, but if the business is never gonna fucking want that, um, because they're hoping that the people who are just who feel the same way about them are gonna come support their business. But more than likely,
yeah,
there's going to be a lot of folks in there that don't. So it's at some point you're going to be losing money. It's like in Tempe when there was the Fiesta Bowl when it used to be in Tempe at Gammage Stadium. Um, that you had to make a decision which flags you were putting up, which teams, colors you were going to put up. So you're like, well, shit, it's
yeah,
Ohio and Miami this year. How many people from Ohio are going to come here versus some people from Miami? Shit, I think there's going to be more Ohio, and you have to take a chance because if they say like, all right, so that way you get all of the Ohio people, maybe some of the Miami, or you get all of the Miami and some of the Ohio. Like you're gonna have to, as a business, you're gonna have to make a choice where they're like, all right, are we doing the cards or not? So I don't know. My whole
yeah,
thing is like, are you? Am I getting paid for this? Yes. All right, here I'll show you my Vax card. Am I not getting paid
yeah.
for this? No, then I'm not doing it. So like,
Well,
uh,
you could be like Ice Cube and walk off of a $9 million payday
yeah,
because they asked for his Zach card and he told me to get fucked.
yeah,
Which hey, I respect that, man. I
fuck
mean, that's
yeah,
it. I mean, that shows me that you mean this shit.
yeah.
You are walking the walk. If you want to go down this road, at
Mm-hmm.
least you're being like consistent, and I respect that.
Yeah,
Even if you don't agree with it or not, you have to respect that
from the
because
guy
he
that
could have easily been like, yeah, he could have easily been gotten vaccinated and get $9 million. Who the fuck would want that? But
yeah,
he's like, nah, I'm good. Fuck you.
yeah. From the guy who wrote "fuck, fuck, fuck the police," fuck, you know what I mean? Fuck him.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he'd be like, "Hey, can we see your Vax card?" Well, of course, officer. Here you go. Absolutely. Am I getting paid for this? $9 million. Thank you so much. All right. I am. So yeah, he wouldn't be Ice Cube. He's staying true to himself. I fucking respect that as well. So he'd be like, "Nah,
Yeah.
you know what? Luckily, I still got a lot of money, so I don't need your fucking 9 million. You go keep that. You go. Yeah, I'm sure Machine Gun Kelly's available. You go get him to be a rapper and your shit.
Machine Gun Kelly.
He'll basically do whatever it takes to get noticed. So go for it. So, which he was good in the Netflix movie The Dirt about Motley Crue. He was really good in that. He played Tommy Lee. But yeah, I don't know. It was weird.
I used to deliver wine to his dad.
Oh yeah, to
Yeah,
Machine
I
Gun
swear to
Kelly's
God.
dad. They're like,
He
yeah,
would get a case. He would get a case of cupcake Chardonnay. He lived right up in Monaco. I guess he was close to where you live.
okay,
Yeah, he would get a case of cupcake Chardonnay. He would always tell me that Machine Gun Kelly's his dad
yeah,
or his son.
right,
I actually looked it up, but I think it's true. I think he was being telling the truth.
uh,
And he and he was a weirdo. He was kind of weird.
uh.
He said I had nice teeth, which I'm like, that's an odd compliment, sir.
Yeah, exactly. Your
You know.
teeth are very clean. You know what? Can I see your feet? And here's your wine. I gotta go. Now I understand why your son's an artist. Okay, there you go. Thanks. That's fucking great, man. Well, cool, man. I think that's probably a good fucking spot to end, man. We like you said, we don't have anything to plug, so I'm just gonna say
Yeah.
signing off for Mansplaining. I'm Dave.
I'm Jake.
Stay toxic, everybody.